Hey, ignore the Halloween decorations. We're pretending it's still August. How are we? How's everybody? Welcome back to my channel. Yeah, this is super duper late. Go figure. But here we are. It's October. And we're finally wrapping up all of the videos that I'm really late on. So we're gonna talk about my August buzzwordathon. So for the August buzzwordathon, if you're new to the channel, hi. Okay, 1 second. If you're new to the channel because I'm popping up on your subscription feed or whatever, or you've found me through Booktober, welcome. If you aren't aware, buzzwordathon is a monthly readathon, typically done either the first week of the month or throughout the month whenever. You read books that fit one specific theme or buzzword traditionally, and this is hosted by Kayla over at Books and Lala. Technically, this is kind of a free-for-all thing. Kayla sets it up every year, but she doesn't actively do sprints for it or anything. There's no like specific dedicated readathon happening. It's just if you fit it into your world, cool. That's that. So this year I challenged myself to do 24-hour readathons for each month. I've been doing okay. I've been doing all right. I'm almost caught up, as you can now imagine, which is good. And I've already started some of the books. I have notes just so I don't forget anything. So yeah, let's discuss 2 of the 3 books that I'm hoping to read. I might just be 2. It depends on what I can get done. Anyway, so the first book that I am reading is Notes on an Execution by Danya Kakowska. This is like the buzz of the town. It's been pretty popular in BookTube basically since it came out, and I've heard great things. In this, we're following multiple perspectives, one being a serial killer on death row who, as you can imagine, is a serial killer. So we follow his perspective, which is written in second person, which is so interesting. Not sure how I feel about it. And then you've got perspectives in between, where we follow his mom when she was a teenager and had him, and like the beginning of his life, and then we follow a girl from foster care with him, a girl that he's dated, the detective that's trying to find him. It's kind of like this mash of women who he's indirectly or directly affected because of his crimes and because of his life. So it kind of follows that. And the women's perspectives are third person, I believe. As everyone's brought up with the concerns of if this is going to romanticize him or make the reader sympathize with him and his crimes or not. And so far, it's not really been that way. It feels very true crimey in that sense, but the difference is the tone. It's not listening to a true crime podcast. It's not listening to Bailey Sarian as she does her makeup. There is less light-hearted joy and fun with it. It's just, here's the story. It's gonna hit you like a truck. And it's heavy. It's very heavy. It's well written. The narration is really well because I'm listening to the audiobook. It's not bad. It's a good story. It's slow. It's heavy. I read it originally 2 days ago. I started, and then I kind of need to take a break from it to kind of breathe a little bit because I didn't want to feel so weighed down. It's gotten easier to listen to as the perspectives have gone on, but the first perspective, hard to listen to. And so I am enjoying it, but I'm not loving it, whereas a lot of people have really loved it. So I'm interested to see where it goes from here. I like following his perspectives, because like there's action happening, whereas with the previous perspectives it's just like being in there but nothing's really happening. So yeah, I'm up to the detective's perspective right now, which is probably like 30 or so % of the way through. So there's still a ways to go. I'm intrigued to see where it goes. I'm gonna keep listening to it. That's that. The other book that I've been like listening back and forth with is The Doll Factory by Elizabeth McNeil. Historical fiction, gothic, mystery, thriller, horror with romance. The last genre-bending book I read was The Book of Living Secrets by Madeline Rowe, and I didn't love it. And I'm afraid this is going to be the same path. So, I don't know what's happening. I am like 40% through. I'm so lost. I don't know if it's me not paying enough attention, me just not caring, so I'm just not grasping onto things, but like I don't know what's happening. I think we're switching perspectives. I know that there is a doll aquarium? No. The woman has like a doll store. She left her family from the doll shop to go be an artist with this man. That's the storyline I understand. And then there's this other guy, Silas. Love the name Silas. Silas is like, he has like a curio shop with weird things going on, and he invited her. I don't know her name. Iris. Her sister's name is Rose. They're twins. Rose has like, she got chicken pox or smallpox or something, so she has like boils and like hates her sister. Her sister's an artist. She's like, deuces, I don't have to take this anymore, left. And that is all I know. Everything that's happened in between, in one ear, out the other, I have no clue. Do not ask me. I don't know. But either way, you know, it's definitely Victorian. It's definitely, I guess you could say gothic. But it's not glamorized modern gothic that we like have come to love. It is like dirty on the streets, you're poor and suffering Victorian gothic. So it's definitely a different vibe. I don't hate it, but I'm bored. And I'm hoping that like the second half of the book really picks up in like the horror. I have not read the synopsis. I will read it when I finish, but I don't know what's to come. I don't know what the objective is. I don't know if there's an antagonist. I don't know. The one note that I do have for it is love the banter, and it has an eerie undertone. That's great. So those are the two books that I'm currently reading for this video. I'm hoping to finish them today and tomorrow. And if I have time, I'm going to try to squeeze in My Dreams I Hold a Knife. But I make no promises. But yeah, I'll let you know when I have more to say. These don't feel like I'm going to have much to say on. So we'll see how this goes. Hi. This is the end of the video. Hi. This is the end of the video. You might be wondering, why, Sam? You haven't really vlogged much. There's been one clip in this video. What's up? And I finished the dollhouse today. And I am unwell from it, sort of. That sounds more serious than it is. But I finished the dollhouse, and I don't really know how to talk about it. I took plenty of notes to help get me through my points while I listened to it, but long story short, for those who might not care, this is a good book to some extent. It's a good book. This is not the book for me, and I'm gonna acknowledge that now before we get into it. This book is very well written. This book has an interesting plot. It is slow, but it is like a good story depending on your taste. It's not objectively bad by any means, but it was not my kind of story. It's not what I was expecting, and it wasn't for me. So I gave this 2 stars. What is this about? Basically, and I'm going to do my best to not have any spoilers in this, because I don't like spoiling my books, or I don't like spoiling books in general. But just know that I might say something that might be a little bit spoily. I'm sure you can kind of guess where the plot's going based off the synopsis. But basically in this, we are following our main character, Iris, and our other main character, Silas, and also Angie? Is that his name? Angie? This little boy? You're kind of following different characters. Anyway, Iris is their main girl. She is a twin to her sister Rose, and they're twins. They're very pretty. Iris had a broken collarbone when she was born, so she's got like this kind of weird deformed collarbone going on. And Rose was always seen as the very beautiful sister. But along their lives, Rose actually got smallpox, and so now her skin is a little messed up. She's got a lot of scars from boils, and her skin's kind of purple, and she's having a really hard time to that. She's very codependent on her sister, and now like has no chance at marriage, so she really relies on Iris. Iris, on the other hand, doesn't really want the responsibility, and they work at this doll shop, so they paint doll faces and stuff, and she's always wanted to be a painter, and she's an artist, and so she meets some people, and she meets this artist, Louis, who kind of takes her under his wing. If she models for him in his art, he will teach her art as well, and that's kind of their agreement, and then their storyline continues. Along the way, Iris meets our other character, Silas. Silas is a taxidermist, and they have this brief encounter. It's not a whole lot. Iris literally forgets after this. Like, she couldn't tell you who that guy was. Silas, on the other hand, really remembers Iris and gets a fixation on their friendship and getting to know her. And this is basically a big ol' gothic horror story set in Victorian era with true depictions of like a Victorian era. It's not like the glamour that modern gothic books are. It is like slumming it with the poor kind of Victorian gothic. But yeah, so basically this is a story about obsession and Silas's very dark obsession. This book gets morbid. This book has a lot of shock to it, and I don't know entirely what the author's intent was when writing this. I honestly sped the last hour up at 3 times speed just so I could finish it sooner, and that might have attributed to my anxiety that I now have, because it was just so fast. And unfortunately, like, the last hour of the book was the best part of the book, and I just needed it to be over. Yeah, it's morbid. There's a lot of things said for shock value. Plenty of trigger warnings. There is so much animal cruelty. There's the prostitution brothel house and how women are treated there. One of the scenes made me quite uncomfortable. Luckily, I was listening to this a lot at work, and so I was able to kind of distract myself and tune it out when I didn't really want to focus on it. And again, the writing of this is beautiful. Like, it is very well written. I will gladly pick up a different story from this author. This was her debut back in 2019, and it is very well written. She's a very talented author. But the material in the story was not something that I personally could resonate with or handle. It was very, very slow, like a very slow paced book. It doesn't really pick up until the last fifth of the book, maybe. Like, it just, nothing happens. And I think that will appeal to so many people. I've seen this compared to Silence of the Lamb. That's not a movie that I've seen or a book I've read, but I've seen comparisons that people enjoy both those things. Another comparison was American Psycho. So if you enjoy those things, you could enjoy this book because it was very well written. It's beautiful wording. Again, it's good, but it was not for me. So personally, when I was reading this, it was a very slow start. I could not give a single care to any of the characters. I didn't understand what the plot was trying to do or where it was going, so I was kind of just like in a slice of life Victorian book, which is not something that I would typically want to read anyway. So I kind of was just like, this is boring, I don't care. And then it continued. And 40% in, I was like, wow, this book is so boring. I don't want to be here. And I wanted to DNF, but I also am doing this video, so I wanted to finish the book, but it was a really big process to get through. And even by 80%, nothing had really happened, and I still wanted to DNF, but I was so close to the finish line that I sped it up and I just got it over with. So by the time that I finished this today at work, I really just wanted it to be over. I didn't really care where the story went. I didn't care about any of the characters. There was just no connection to it for me, which is why I shouldn't have picked this up. I went into it thinking that it was going to be, think the Pretty Little Liars episode where they get put in the dollhouse. I thought this was going to be more like that, and I was really intrigued, and that's not what it was. This is pitched as a thriller, but it's pitched as a psychological thriller, but it's really just gothic horror. There's nothing thrilling about it. And by the time that I finished it, I just felt like I was being pushed down at work. Like there was something sitting on my chest. And then that kind of started going away as I started watching YouTube videos to kind of comfort me, because that's what I do. And then like just the anxiety has been there. I literally got in my truck after work, turned on the car, had my foot on the brake to turn my truck on, eased off the brake, drove a little bit, continuously pushed on the brake, thinking it was the gas and wondering why I wasn't moving. So like I just wasn't in a good place when I got off work. I'm a little bit better now. I still feel kind of heavy, but I don't feel as bad. But this just wasn't the story for me. I gave this 2 stars. I'm glad that it's over. Yes, ma'am. But unfortunately, that means that I don't want to finish Notes on an Execution right now. I think it's a good book. I think that I will finish it for sure. I will definitely finish it. I'm 40% of the way through. I got a little bit more yesterday read, but I need something very different in tone right now. I need something a lot a bit different. And I just want to read anything that will help me not feel like I'm going to slump. So that's the end of this video. I'm sorry it was kind of a downer. I really don't like doing these kinds of videos, but I'm doing Booktober this month. There's going to be a new video tomorrow that'll be totally different and it'll be fine. And I know that it's okay. But I do try to keep my videos more positive and fun and not so heavy, and I feel like my content has been a little more in a serious tone with my reading vlogs. So hopefully this will be the end of that for the month, and it'll just be good. Happy reading from here. I hope your reading this October is going super fantastic and you're reading all of the spooky books. Let me know what you're reading down below. Maybe I can get some suggestions, put it in a little pot. Yeah. That's gonna be it from me today. Thank you for watching. If you stuck it out, I really appreciate it. I will see you guys tomorrow in my next video. Bye. Just sleep.